Hi everybody, this video is going to be about the word error catalog and the technique that is for you as reading tutors. This is an important thing to talk about before we start in on it. The key thing to think about is whether or not many of the students' struggles come because they get blocked or stuck on individual words. If getting stuck on individual words is interrupting their fluency and interrupting their comprehension, then you need to spend the time helping them on word mastery, on identifying words automatically and rapidly. So we don't want them to be stopping and spending 3, 4, 5 seconds on word errors. So they need to have strong strategies that help them to attack those words. I mentioned in the previous video that is a combination of activating vocabulary knowledge and phonics knowledge at the same time. Smart readers who are comprehending what they read do both of those things at the same time. So for students 3rd grade and older here, a catalog of words that they have made errors on will be a useful tool. For kids that are 2nd grade and younger, I don't know that this is going to be such a big deal because it's pretty predictable that those guys are actually still learning how to read single syllable and multiple syllable words. So some of the continuing instruction with them, their baseline instruction in 2nd grade is probably still appropriate. But for students 3rd grade and older who are getting stuck on words, that's a huge problem. So what you need to do is you need to avoid spending time on word patterns, phonics patterns, vocabulary knowledge that they already have. Don't waste your time going through a full system and sequence of instruction with phonics because they don't need all of the phonics. They just need the stuff they don't know, right? And the words that they miss are going to tell us which phonics they need. That, in addition to the names test and other tools that you might use, should give you clues on the specific phonics patterns to focus in on. But if the word errors are coming because of something else, if they tend to be coming from vocabulary knowledge, you're going to take a completely different tack on instruction. And if it's more about fluency, you might take a completely different tack on instruction too. Almost every year when we have a reading clinic that has more than 10 kids in it, the struggle with words kind of starts to even out when we give kids permission and a little bit of modeling in phrasing in their reading and give them permission to stop reading one word at a time so that as soon as they're bringing meaning back into it through phrasing and as sentence level reading, that some of their word errors might even out. But as you can see here, this is to focus on kids who are getting stuck and stopped on words over and over again. So keeping that catalog, the key principles here, the catalog has to be for each student and you record each word you hear them stop and struggle on. Even if they end up decoding it eventually, the fact that they stopped their fluency to spend time on that word lets you know that that word might give you clues. So I say 30 words is what we're looking for because in statistical sampling, as soon as you have 30 in your sample, you can have some sort of confidence that it's better than random. So you should be able to start seeing some patterns emerge once you have 30 or more words. So you need to start doing this now. You might not have 30 of these word errors until a couple of weeks from now and start seeing what the patterns are. So once you have a good bank of words, start looking for the patterns. Is there something typical about how this individual makes errors? And does it look like it's about structure of the word, such as the phonics patterns that are there, or does it look like it's about something else? Does it look like it's about, it might be about vocabulary, or it might be about they're memorizing the words or something like that. So you want to look at the actual behavior in addition to the words themselves. If it takes a lot of reading sessions to accumulate 30 words or more, then you should start thinking about vocabulary development instead of phonics and word identification, because if they're not getting stuck on a lot of words, then that's a pretty good clue that the words they're getting stuck on might be just new or unfamiliar vocabulary words. So I'm just going to show you several examples of word error catalogs, and I'm going to go first to this one that's an image. So this is Amanda Duncombe, who was tutoring for us last semester, and this is just a screenshot of some of her list. It cuts off down around 43, but you can see that as soon as she had about 30, 35 words, she was able to start color coding and start to figure out, okay, which words seem to be showing a typical kind of pattern. So you see the blue pattern? Those are all words that end with a Y, where the Y says E. That's something that can be taught, right? You see rice and race, words where the silent E is doing something different. Well, no, that's one where it's doing the same thing. So she was able to just say, okay, let's just do a quick little lesson on that silent E, and probably a reminder for this kid. The different pronunciations of no and now was a lesson. The kind and mind, the fact that those say a long I when it should say a short I sound, definitely something to think about. You can see that she's got a student who was confusing the words who and how. Those are those dark red words. So, and the green words, a set of TH words that were difficult for this student. Probably, most typically with that, you see kids reading the first two letters, the TH, and then just guessing the rest of the word. So that's a pattern, a set of patterns that Amanda found by getting her word catalog to be over 30 words. These are actual words that the kid had errors on while they were reading. So let's see, let's go to Acrobat here. I've got another one open. So this is Grace. Grace, by the time she had about 30 or more words, she followed my coaching to start putting them into syllables so that she could see if there were patterns that were coming out with the longer syllable words. She's got them split into 2, 3, and 4 syllable words versus 1 syllable words. And she's going by how they're pronounced. So a word like side, if you say it out loud, it's not a word that has 2 syllables, even though it has that ed. And look it up at the top, the word filled, not 2 syllables, even though it has that ed on the ending, because it's not the fill-ed, it's filled. All of the V's that you see here are words where she had clues based on a discussion with the student that those words were errors because of vocabulary. So look at this across all of these words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got pushing on half of these words. Grace was thinking this kid didn't know what those words meant, and that made it harder for the words to read. It's one of the oldest and most robust pieces of research that we have is that vocabulary knowledge predicts word identification and comprehension success. Okay, I'm going to go back to Word here, and we'll go to our next screen. I'm going to show you this word catalog just because this is one that did not get well developed, and this did not give this tutor very much opportunity to figure things out for this student. If I were starting to organize this list, I would see some clear things here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words on this list begin with the letter F. So just in terms of a pattern, I want to know what in the world is going on with this kid with the letter F, and do I need to teach to it? So I would bring that in and talk to this student about it. Also, really clearly, set of compound words there. But to me, this list is useless until it's something that has been collected and started to be analyzed for patterns. Now, Thomas did that. He just didn't do it on this sheet of paper. So I want you to think about that. Just collecting your catalog of word errors isn't the point. The point is to get to where you can actually start categorizing them. So here is Elizabeth's catalog, and she's actually cataloging it by week so that she has a sense for, in an individual week, what did I see happening, and then she took this later and started to use highlighters to color code this list so that she could look at it, and then she pulled all of that together into this table of patterns in the missed words. So word meaning, double vowels was a key problem for this student. Long words, past tenses. Excellent, excellent word catalog. Next. So Kara Thomas did this list and found that for her student, it did come down to vocabulary words, words with specific ing and ed endings, and o vowels ended up being a huge thing she saw for this student. So an excellent word catalog. Not as many words as I would like to see for that catalog, though. I really like to see a preponderance of, a huge amount of words to be able to build from. Okay, let's go to the next one. Amy Tanklevsky, a tutor last semester, here's her total miscues, and she took that and organized it alphabetically just so she had a sense for how many words have we actually looked at here, and then here's how she started to organize hers. Simple by syllables, and miscues organized in other ways, just things that she was thinking about, double vowels, and vocabulary words. She had various different ways of looking at this huge list that she had gathered together. So another student, let's go to Megan Murray. Here are the miscues that we see, and then here are the patterns that she started to catalog. So she just took this and then started going through with highlighters again, and then she just wrote down in her weekly log the patterns that she was seeing that she was going to be able to teach to. Okay, I'm going to scroll through again, see if I've got one more. So Eleanor, Ellie Kruger, I think that last one I said that it was Megan, but it was Katie Murray. Okay, so here we go. This word error catalog, multiple syllable words and single syllable words and vocab. So for this student, they weren't running into a lot of vocabulary that was too hard for her to understand, but a lot of multiple syllable words were stopping this person, and a lot of single syllable words. So thinking about what the patterns are here, that's a whole other thing, to start pulling these together and saying, okay, do I see any patterns here that I can teach to, any patterns here that I can teach to, and I'm not sure what these X's were, I can't remember, but she started thinking about, these were the number of times the student made a miscue or error on those words. So 3 times for chances, 2 times for finished, 2 times for knock. So those were ones where I think she probably spent more time on them, because for some of these, kids might read furniture wrong the first time, but get it right the next time because they realize that it's in their oral language vocabulary. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's a lot of talk about what a word catalog could be, but hopefully you've visually seen here what your word catalog needs to look like. Just look at how many words over a few weeks Ellie gathered and was able to use. Probably starting at about week 4, week 5 of her tutoring, she was really able to focus in on building a portion of her tutoring session as working on specific kinds of words and specific ways of making those errors. So think about both of these videos that I've made. What do you observe? What type of error are you seeing, and how can you help them get beyond that? And then what is the specific content of the word errors? Are there specific phonics patterns, specific morphemes, specific affixes? Are there high frequency words? Or are you going to be thinking more about teaching vocabulary, less about teaching vocabulary? Those are decisions that you should make based on the actual errors that you see. And I'm going to stop there. We'll talk to you soon.